beautiful car. I drove car like this for master.
Yeah?
When I was alive.
Oh, when you was alive? When you was alive. That did it. Great.
Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and hope you have had a good January. Now that we're in February, Black History Month, I decided to keep the zombie ball rolling, as it were, since last week's movie was a zombie flick. And we're going to start with Revenge of the Zombies. If you remember, a couple years ago, with my Mantan Moreland salute, we had the film King of the Zombies. Well, Revenge is sort of a follow-up / unofficial remake of that flick. Since it's a few years later, they could just openly say they were fighting German agents, as opposed to the previous one where we hadn't entered war yet. It does feature a returning Mantan Moreland as Jeff. And this features a much better cast, a stronger cast than King of the Zombies. Oh, with the exception, of course, of the dynamic Dick Purcell. This features Robert Lowry, who you may recall. I pointed him out in The Undertaker and His Pals. He was a very popular leading man in B movies. He appeared in such films as Murder Over New York, Charlie Chan Mystery, the Universal's Ghost of the Mummy, as well as their House of Horror, and played Batman in the 1949 Columbia serial Batman and Robin. We also have John Carradine as our villain, who, you remember, we highlighted in both Bluebeard and Astro Zombies, kind of the good and the bad there. And we also have Gail Storm as the love interest, as well as cowboy star Bob Steele playing of what else? The local sheriff. And Veta Ann Borg appears here. She had a bit of a tragic story earlier in her career. She was gaining momentum and popularity, and she got into a major car accident, and her face went through a windshield, and she had to have extensive reconstruction surgery. In fact, she was still recovering from it when she made the Columbia serial The Shadow in 1940. And but she healed. She came back and appeared in films like this one and Fog Island. I believe she was also in the Columbia serial Jungle Raiders. But the biggest name here is James Baskett, who, if you don't know the name, he played Uncle Remus in Song of the South, Disney's most controversial film, even when it came out. Anyways, we open with Baskett as Lazarus calling the zombies. Oof, creepy. Well, most of the zombies are sent to work, but one in particular, Pete, is pulled aside and sent to watch Dr. Keating's place. A good thing he does, because some men arrive at Keating's. It seems that our hero, Larry Adams, is a private detective, and he's been hired by Mr. Worthington to look into the death of his sister, who's married to the master of the house, Van Alterman. He's a surgeon slash scientist slash, And, well, they talk to Keating, and he explains, the weird kind of death that occurred to her. Poison? Well, we couldn't find any traces of it, but he wasn't given much time to examine, so there is a possibility because the doctors kept her there for the funeral, of course, and everything. But that's not really why he kept her. Yep, he's doing zombie experiments with her. Well, what Larry and Warrington decide on is they'll switch identities. That way, if anyone tries to take out Warrington, Larry will be able to knock him out, or some such thing. So they go to the estate where we meet our love interest for Larry.
Mr. Warrington, really?
I'm Scott Warrington. Dr. Keating, you know, of course. This is my friend, Larry Adams.
I'm Jennifer Rand, Dr. Von Alterman's secretary.
Everybody knows everybody, and then the doctor comes in to introduce himself. They ask the obvious question. We'd like to see the body. That seems pretty deceased. Meanwhile, after Jeff puts the car away, he meets his love interest.
Waiting for me, honey?
That's right, I'm to show you the way to the house.
You've been this close to me all the time, and I've been wasting my time out front.
Of course, just like in the previous film, she tells him about the mysterious things going on where dead people are walking around. He kind of scoffs, so she shows him, only to have Lazarus intervene and give the tour.
I don't know where you at, but 30 seconds from now, I'm going to be 11 miles away from here. Goodbye.
Well, of course, Jeff goes running back to the house to tell his employer what the heck he saw. And they're not sure about this, but while that's happening, Van Alten is establishing his will over his late wife. His experiments are coming along pretty good. Having heard Jeff's story, they go down, decide to check on the body again, and Van Alten tells Lila to go to the lab, and then he leaves through a secret door. And, well, our heroes catch a frightening glimpse.
Lila!
How is that possible? Was she drugged? Well, they search for her and can't find her. So, they go to confront Van Alten. He's in disbelief and goes to show them.
You've been on guard here since I left you?
Yes, master.
Further examination shows, yeah, she is dead. Not drugged. Stone cold. No breath. No heartbeat. How? That is a question there. figure out. Later, the sheriff shows up, although he's not the real sheriff.
Dr. von Alterman?
Commander von Hofmannsthal has received a report from me that my experiment is now successfully completed.
Yes, Doctor. He sent me to inquire into the nature of it.
Is he prepared to arrange my transportation home?
Yes, I'm to arrange that.
Yeah, turns out they're both German spies. And there was a government agent who was looking for the sheriff. He'd been established, and everything, and suspected him of being a spy, but he took care of him, so they don't have to worry about that. Then he demonstrates what his experiments have done by having Lila come out and, do the usual stop, put your hand up, put your hand in, all that kind of stuff. And it turns out the whole thing is for him to build an army of these zombies so that they'll have unlimited troops. And if a soldier gets killed, he just gets put back in with the rest of them until the army will be massive. Just what the Third Reich needs. Zombie soldiers. Anyways, it'll take a few days to get all the arrangements done. A lot of equipment to pack up, all that. And then at dinner that night, the switched identity gets kind of accidentally revealed.
It can't be true. You're just trying to...
You'd be rather concerned, Mr. Adams.
Naturally, I'm concerned. I am not Mr. Adams. I'm Scott Warrington.
I suspected that from the first.
That's a bit anticlimactic. He just kind of blurts it out. Says, yeah, I knew that. Well, anyways, the next day, Jeff has a problem with a corpse.
Would you want a match?
Tis but a scratch.
Wow! The rolling, don't look at the Larry. Well, it was, yeah.
Are you sure you saw it, Jeff? You're not just seeing things again, are you?
I'm seeing things, but it's things that I don't want to see.
Well, it's not here now. That's plain enough.
Looking?
And he was in no condition to drive.
Man, that is one persnickety body. Driving off like that. Didn't even ask permission for the car. Anyways, after that, while out walking with Dr. Keating, Scott Warrington finds Lila's scarf. He goes off to confront the doctor about it, and Keating hears a mysterious voice.
Come in, Dr. Keating.
I don't think I'd have gone in there. That doesn't look safe. Anyways, now with Dr. Keating missing, they demand to call the police, so our villain calls in the sheriff. And he says he's going to search all the grounds and the house, and he's going to keep an eye on that there doctor. Well, while they're off searching the house, Larry sneaks into the lab and makes a startling discovery.
Needless Tuesday.
I'm shocked.
No, not that. That's not the discovery. His joke is a reference to the rationing that went on during the wartime. Some days you had to go without meat. Some days you had to go without wheat. Just to allow the soldiers to have supplies. Now, I'm talking about the other discovery he made.
BRG calling SSX. BRG calling SSX. BRG calling SSX.
Hey, still got a lot of movie to go through. Wonder if he's going to get caught.
Seize and bang him.
So you're in this too, Sheriff?
But I'm not the sheriff here, Adam. And that U.S. operative, I've already taken care of him.
The vanishing corpse, eh?
Oh, that's nice. They explained what the missing corpse was all about. Anyway, they tie up Larry, throw him in the closet with the skeleton, and then leave. He manages to find a sharp object to cut his ropes, but he's still locked in the closet. Luckily, Jeff's been sent to the basement to get some more supplies for the kitchen, and well, he goes into the wrong room.
Jeff, this ain't Jeff's spirit, and I don't know no Jeff.
Yeah, it's Mr. Adams. I'm locked in.
But why didn't you say that?
Thanks, boy. You're giving the nick of time.
Ah, that was a lucky break. Larry goes and talks to the main housekeeper, Beulah, who was the one who sent down there, almost as if she knew. Anyways, talking to her, she explains that Lila is no longer under the doctor's control, and she goes to show him. Meanwhile, Dr. Van Alten had gone into the kitchen and was messing around with the food a bit. But Lila shows up and gives Larry some much needed advice. Or would you call it a warning?
You guard my brother until midnight. Then I'll be ready.
Don't worry about him. What can we do for you? How can we help you?
No one can help me so long as he lives.
Midnight. While he lives. I wonder if she's got something nasty planned for the doctor.
Could be.
Anyways, that night after dinner, while the secretary is sent upstairs, the four men, minus Jeff, sit around smoking, drinking, talking. Almost like somebody was trying to delay until something happens.
However, in the end, basing my conclusions on the experiments of Androssi in Vienna, I injected the serum into the body of a tramp.
You've doped us.
I'm afraid, my friend, this time you have indeed been caught napping.
Well, they're drugged. They're dying. Our fiendish mad doctor decides Lila's brother's just perfect as his next subject and has Lazarus carry him down to the lab. Leaves his confederate to watch as Larry slowly dies. But that's not what he does.
Jeff, Rosella, let me Beulah some coffee, please, at once. Not a cup, but a whole quart. And hurry if we're to save a man's life. You can put the gun away, Adams, so he didn't catch you napping after all.
Who are you? United States agent?
You've guessed it.
That's a bit of a twist. Of course, he's the one who'd... the corpse was actually the German agent that he took care of, and he's the government agent that took care of the German agent who was pretending to be the sheriff. Anyways, how they both knew the antidote was Pete told the sheriff and Beulah told Larry. While they're going over this, the doctor has gone up to his secretary's room, and he wants her to go with him to Germany. He's fallen in love with her, or at least lust. She refuses and runs out, running into Larry and the rest of the gang, and they go down to the lab where, of course, Van Alderns has already gotten there, and is preparing to zombify Scott. But Jeff gives Larry an axe and they break down the door, stopping him. That is until the zombies show up.
Leave these people and find them. I say halt! You hear me? I say halt! Halt! Halt!
Well, if he's not the one in control, who is?
You.
You dare to set your will against mine?
I do. You can't hurt me. You can't destroy me. You can't control me.
Wow, I never considered that. Lila took control of him. That's a strong will. Anyways, she orders her minion to bind him, but he runs away. So they slowly follow him. Wonder if we got any more surprises.
I'm shocked.
Yep. Turns out Lila had kept him safe. She's only thinking. Meanwhile, she and her horde finally get their revenge on the Nazi doctor.
No, Lila, don't! I love you, Lila! I defend my country, Lila! Lila! No!
I've had worse.
Sure. I don't think he's coming back from that. Anyways, this is all cleared up. Scott is revived, and Jennifer decides to return to New York with Larry. And Scott has to stay behind to clear up things at the estate and all that stuff. And, Jeff's going to be taking back someone with himself, too.
And when I get you to Harlem, I'm going to get you a good job, a swell one. And if you just save your money, then you can get married.
If I get the swell job, honey, I don't need to get married.
One last joke for the road, Ed. Mantan got his comeuppance on one-liners. Yeah, this film's actually a better made film than King of the Zombies. It's a little more creepy. Mantan doesn't have as much to do with this one. He's got a few moments of comedy, and of course his always delightful one-liners. But as compared to King of the Zombies, this one's got a better pacing, some interesting plot twists, and the threat seems a little bit more. The previous film, it was just trying to get information from a kidnapped army commander, but here he's wanting to build a whole army, and it's more scientifically based. You know, he's got those gadgets with the electricity and the serums and stuff, so it's not quite so voodoo-ish, although there is that implication that maybe that Mama Beulah helped Lila become her own will because of her voodoo magic. But it's never explicitly said. As I said, it's a stronger cast. Robert Lowry is a stronger screen presence than John Archer was. And my only complaint with him was he always seemed angry in his films. I don't know if that was just something of his performance or if that was just something he brought through from himself. But he can be charming in some of the scenes with Gail Storm as Jennifer, but we're not here for that. So I skipped those parts. And of course, Bob Still, always good value for the money. He had a really good career. He was in a lot of his own westerns as the star, like Phantom of the Plains, and also started the Billy the Kid series, which was directed by his brother, Sig Neufeld. His real name was Bob Neufeld. But he, of course, then moved on from that, and Buster Crabbe took over that character. And he also was one of the... oh, gosh, there were so many of them. He had his own trio of heroes that he joined. There was him, Ken Maynard, and Hoot Gibson. Basically all original silent film. And I believe it was the Range Busters was their group. And if you ever see those films, they are hilarious just because of the way tides have changed, calling Hoot Gibson always being referred to as Hooter. Take it away, Hooter! Anyway, of course his best role was probably as the hitman Canino in The Big Sleep. Anyways, of course, we are all of them put to tone into the background when John Carradine comes on. He's still young in his career. He hadn't gotten down to that overacting he would do in the later portions of his career. And here he's just menacing as all get out, suave at the same time. He did quite a few films for Monogram. He was also in Voodoo Woman and Return of the Ape Man, as well as his work over at Universal with The Invisible Man's Revenge and Captive Wild Woman. That was the basis or the start of his horror career. When he started out, he was like a John Ford regular, being in Stagecoach and the John Steinbeck adaptation, which I am at a loss to think of. It's his most famous book. I'll put it down here. Grapes of Wrath. Oh, Jesus. Nice. Anyways, he's great. And he and Bob Still make pretty good villains there while they were villains. And Maurice Hugo as our other lead. He was a B-movie actor. Made a lot of stuff. I mostly saw him in serials like The Master Key and G-Men versus the Phantom Legion. You know, stuff like that. Anyway, that's all I got to really say about this one. Again, it's a really good highlight for Mantan Moreland, but a creepier film. Please like, share, subscribe, and stay after the credits for my favorite Mantan scene.
Here is cemetery.
I thank you, but I got to go home. I forgot something.
What you forget?
I forgot to stay there.
Don't be afraid. Dead can't hurt you.
No, but it'll make you hurt yourself.